Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for January 5th, 2018. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES right now in a very strong trending market still. The recent pullback has led to a major bull run to start the year, already inside the primary target zone for the year so far. You can actually see here that the upper end of that target range is 2740, lower end of the range is 2722, and that becomes the primary target zone from the recent pivot low, and that gives you a high probability target zone. So we're already into that zone. We still have 2740 to get to, and beyond that we could continue pushing higher toward the PivotBoss pivot targets that are above. You can see right here, this is the previous month's high. This gold line here would be the 25% expansion target from the previous month's range. This one would be 50, and up here that would be 75. So we still have more upside potential to 2745 before we could even start to see a little bit of a pullback. Again, we have a nice LVN that's developing here off of the previous month's high. So even a pullback as deep as that LVN could still be an opportunity for bulls to defend and look to squeeze to new highs. Typically speaking, anytime you leave behind a very narrow profile behind like this, the market has to retrade through it in order to create a more robust profile. So at some point we may be pulling back through this profile, but bulls would look to defend and squeeze yet again. So right now still trending up. Today on an intraday basis, bulls are going to be looking to defend pullbacks and rotations back toward VWAP. Right now a very strong sloping VWAP to the upside. Again, all signs point to the upside until proven otherwise. Here's a look at the NQ. NQ very similar, very strong market here. The previous session was more of a digestion day. We had two very strong days to start the year. The previous session was just mostly a hold day. It held at highs, formed a very narrow consolidation range, and that's basically an energy building phase. And today we're already seeing expansion outside of that range. We're seeing a very strongly sloped VWAP. Again, that would suggest to buy pullbacks intraday and look to defend counter trend rotations for a shot at higher highs. We're already approaching the 100% target for the month here, and then that's that 66.45 level. So we have still more upside here, but we've already shot into that primary target zone for the month to start off. So that's pretty solid, pretty bullish. In terms of the PivotBoss pivots here above, we still have 66.99, basically 6,700 as the next upside target. That would be your 50% expansion target. And then you have another cluster of targets just above that at around 6,800. So this has quite a bit more to go as well. We do have an LVN that's developed off the previous month's high, that's 65.50. So again, very similar to the ES. Any counter trend rotation into that level, which may come at some point, perhaps next week, would still offer an opportunity to buy and lift it to the next level of targets above. Let's take a look here at crude oil. Crude oil has been quite bullish overall. The previous session saw a minor rejection of highs, but didn't quite pull back to that 61.13 level that we expected. Instead, started to form a rounded bottom in the intraday and attempted to break out to the upside, but failed. And then today, we're seeing another rejection of 62s. We're seeing a break below the previous session's low, and now we are approaching the 61.13. So this one is looking, at least in the short term today, on an intraday basis, we have a downward sloping VWAP, and bears clearly were defending the previous session off 62s. A short squeeze was very short-lived, and then again, bears were able to take control off 62. So right now, we still remain in a very bullish uptrending market. We ran into a buzzsaw of a key level at 62, and the idea was that we would see bears come in and defend, and we have so far. We are below the previous session's low, so keep an eye on that level, because if there's any failure to hold below that level today, again, that could signal another attempt at new highs. So right now we're just kind of allowing the market to reject this level and see how it's going to play out. Again, if this thing were to break back below the previous mid here, 61.13, that could suggest a retest back towards 60.11 and perhaps even lower. And again, this market has been very bullish, so you would expect bulls to come in and defend that counter trend rotation for a stronger move higher. So watching this to see how it develops off these 62 so far. Bears have control, and keep an eye on 61.59. Again, that's going to be the key level there for the day. A break back above that level could signal a return back to 61.80, 61.90, or 62. Here's a look at GC. The previous session, a couple of days ago, we were talking about a failed new low. If there was a failed new low that comes in below this low, that would suggest a rally into 1330. Yesterday, the market did reject. It was a perfect box reversal down below that low. Nice little box reversal. It failed and rallied. And not only that, it closed above that high. That's an outside bull signal there that you would typically look for, and that's usually very bullish. Today, you can see that the market has already defended off yesterday's midpoint very strongly and has already pushed back up. It's holding on VWAP as support right now, and again, if price can push through 1324s here, it could be a quick push into 1330 to complete that trade idea. But not only that, we could see even a move higher, perhaps in a 1338 and the top of this value area here at 1340. So we still have more upside that could be seen here. That failed new low was a great signal that we would likely see 1330, but we could also push past that into 1338. Again, holding 1317 is going to be very important for the day. Failure to hold that could rotate this thing back down, so that's going to be the level to watch for a failure. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how it plays out the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.